Minnesotans are one day away from legal recreational cannabis. Beginning August 1st, those in the state can legally grow and possess cannabis products. And in most cities, you can smoke on the streets. Emily Haugen spoke with law enforcement about what legalization looks like in Robbinsdale.
As July comes to a close,
there are incredible changes coming to the drug statutes, and it has to do with well more than just marijuana.
I think that it would serve a great purpose and then just kind of reduce down other things that's going on.
Change is in the air.
Yeah.
And Robbinsdale police are hard at work.
The biggest focus is absolutely going to be public safety. We are most concerned about that.
The Minnesota legislature wrote hundreds of pages to make cannabis use legal August 1st. This PowerPoint presentation breaks it down for Robbinsdale police.
If people are going to be using THC, gummies, concentrate, whatever, know the law. Because we do.
Possession isn't a crime anymore, as long as you have less than 2 ounces of flower, 8 ounces of concentrate, or 800 milligrams of THC edible products.
If people wish to use, we want them to use responsibly and within the confines of the law.
Smoking isn't allowed at indoor public spaces.
Use it where you need to use it. Don't use it out in public because you don't want to have the children looking.
But at this time, it is allowed on public sidewalks, like Robbinsdale's downtown.
I'm just really hoping people don't smoke in public areas and affect other people.
Elder says some laws could still change.
The city of Lakeville just passed an ordinance that made it unlawful to smoke in any public space.
The city council will take up that issue on August 8th. In the meantime, Elder says police are prepared. In Robbinsdale, Emily Haugen, CCX News.
While advocates celebrate the move toward more lenient drug policies and potential economic benefits, concerns over road safety and impaired driving have also taken center stage. Jenna Globe has more from the Crystal Police Department.
We're certainly not seeing it as a free-for-all, that anything goes.
Law enforcement officials want to make it clear when it comes to driving and marijuana.
You can't be smoking marijuana inside of a vehicle that's being operated.
That goes for both the driver and passengers.
Any show of use inside the vehicle is illegal.
Law enforcement agencies across the state, including the Crystal Police Department, are gearing up for the challenges that could lie ahead.
The concern for me with the legislation is that we haven't really spent enough time making sure that we've made sure that the driving public is safe by this law change.
Critics point to data from other states like Colorado and Washington, which saw a sharp increase in traffic accidents and fatalities following marijuana legalization.
I want us to treat it similar to alcohol in understanding the serious public safety health risks that certainly operating a motor vehicle have when you're using marijuana. Even though we've legalized it and we've made it okay, recognizing it's still not okay to be impaired while using it.
The legislation includes funds for public education and awareness campaigns about the risks of driving under the influence of marijuana. There's also money set aside for officers to receive enhanced training to identify and combat impaired driving.
We have always had the standardized field sobriety testing that all officers are trained on if they believe somebody to be impaired on anything, alcohol, an illegal substance, a hazardous substance, that we don't believe that it is okay for them to be operating a motor vehicle.
Only time will tell what kind of effect legalizing marijuana will have on public safety.
And we certainly can't forget that we've got a public health and a public safety issue that we need to be aware of as we're trying to do that correctly.
In Crystal, Jenna Globe, CCX News.
It's important to note that unlike alcohol, it will still be illegal to use marijuana around minors as well as possess a firearm. A New Hope entrepreneur is making a name for herself in the world of hair and skincare products. In today's Business Matters, we introduce you to the woman behind Nature's Syrup, who has a message for anyone out there with textured hair.
Thinking about how far I've come, it's surreal.
Devonna Bentley Pittman is an expert in syrup.
These are some of our favorites.
Just not the kind of syrup you're probably thinking of.
This one has plum.
This New Hope woman is the owner of Nature's Syrup, which is a line of skin and hair care products that Pittman developed after enduring what she calls the big chop.
So the big chop is when you cut off all of your hair, all of your chemically processed hair, to embrace the hair that grows out of your scalp, which is what I did.
When she decided to embrace the natural look, it required using different hair products than she had in the past. But after not finding ones she liked, she decided to make her own.
So people are like, oh, you're a chemist. I'm like, no, I'm not really a chemist. I like to call myself a kitchen scientist.
Over the last 10 years,
we use these to make the body butter.
This self-described kitchen scientist,
it's what I started with,
developed a line of products using natural ingredients for women with textured hair.
I want people to embrace their hair, the way it grows out of their scalp, without having to use the chemicals or feeling like they need to use chemicals to embrace a certain standard of what beauty should look like.
Pittman uses this warehouse space in Arden Hills to store and ship her merchandise. But most of her sales are done online and at farmers markets around the metro. Meanwhile, the local business community is taking notice. Earlier this year, the National Association of Women Business Owners honored her with the Emerging Woman Business Owner of the Year award.
This award for me from NAWBO is incredible, and it reminds me to keep working and to keep paving the way.
What was once a side hustle is now a full-time job as she works to encourage others to embrace their natural hair.
Because we're all beautiful. Our hair is beautiful no matter the texture.
One of Pittman's long-term goals for Nature Syrup is to see the product on the shelves of large retailers. Earlier this summer, some of her products became available on Macy's.com.
After a brief storm early Friday evening, the weather was picture perfect for the rest of the Crystal Frolics softball tournament. Here's highlights from the 2 Saturday championship games.
Welcome Park, the site for Crystal Frolics softball men's Gold Division final. In gray, CPD's Tyler Flackney delivers a hit to left to score Landon Balcom as CPD takes a 7-2 lead in the top of the second. After a bit of a slow start, JEC erupts in the bottom of the third. Matt Ripka launches a 2-run homer to left as JEC takes a 9-8 lead. Same inning and Craig Arndt delivers a well-placed hit down the line and left. Jordan Bond and Cameron Moline score for an 11-8 lead. JEC scores 11 runs in the inning and they never look back on the way to a 25-14 win to take the Gold Division title. Then it's the first Women's Division title game. Duck-Tech's Sarah Kaiser burns the defense with a long drive to left center to score a run as Duck-Tech goes up 2-0 in the second. They lead 4-0 after an inning and a half. Down 11-6, On Point gets 5 in the fourth. Kayla Gantz hit up the middle, scores 2 runs, and On Point's within 11-9. It's 11-11 at the end of 4. In the fifth, Casey Eagle sends the outfielders chasing this one to deep right. 2-run score as On Point takes the Women's Division Championship with a 14-13 win.
Off-season training programs are standard now for local high school hockey teams. The Armstrong-Cooper girls finished up their STP sessions.
On a summer day when the temperature hit the mid-90s, New Hope Arena isn't a bad place to be. As July wraps up, the Armstrong-Cooper girls hockey team, seen here scrimmaging Minneapolis, reached the end of their summer training sessions.
Getting to play 1 game a week and running 2 practices, and then we do some strength training where we have trainers come in and work with the girls, so they get to hear more voices, and also it ends up in a fun game every week, so it's not just practice.
The Wings were part of a 4-team group, including Osseo Park Center, Hopkins Park, and Minneapolis, that scrimmaged each Thursday for much of June and July.
Yeah, I think the matchups that we've had so far have been good. They're all pretty even. None of them are really like blowout games, and I think it's good for us to practice what we're coming into, especially for the younger ones.
I feel like the teams are definitely evenly matched. I feel like it was picked really well, and I just think that having the even teams kind of gives us more confidence for the season, which definitely I feel like helps a lot.
For the last few years, it's been pretty consistent, good matchups with Minneapolis, Hopkins, and OPC, and so all of us coaches started talking this off season of trying to include it into our summer training program and trying to make sure we have 1 scrimmage a week to kind of keep the game and competition going, and it's worked out really well.
For younger players especially, getting a taste of high school hockey in a less pressure-packed environment in the summer is a good way to get acclimated.
I like seeing younger girls come up, kind of learning how we do things here, and I feel like it's good for them to see how the older girls kind of work as a team.
Like bonding with the team, getting to know the older girls, and us older girls getting to know the younger girls. Not all of them will be moving up to high school, so I think it will be better that we can kind of know them better for when they do come up.
When you play youth, you're pretty much only playing with your grade or possibly the one above you or below you. Now you're going in where we have girls that are going into senior year all the way to girls that are going into their 8th grade year. So there's 3 classes of girls they've never played with. So I think it's a great way for them to get to know them and maybe take away a little bit of that fear of going to that next level.
The Armstrong-Cooper girls will be back together as a group come November when the season starts, hoping to build on a good summer. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.